Hello.
Hi.
Hi, what's up? You to this podcast. What I want or what I try is to get you to tell some stories. So, what you are passionate about, what you find interesting, just to share it with us. If you
Yeah, sure.
need to take time to think about something, just take it. I'm editing it in the end, so if you need like 20 seconds to collect yourself, take them. It is no problem.
Okay.
Um, If you run out of talking points, I've got a whole lot of questions prepared, so don't even worry about it. All right?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay. So when I first started, I was like 6 to 8 months old because my parents, actually my father and his elder brother and his uncle were involved in doing research in Sri Lanka. So they were environmentalists back then. I'm talking about 2003, 2004 time. So at that time, I think I'm audible, right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. Okay, great. So there was a lot of snakes back at my place because they did a lot of research. We did a lot of rescue calls, and yeah. So from that, I started my weekend. I could remember every weekend my parents used to. So every Friday night we used to go to somewhere to a jungle where it's green, and then we come at back at Sunday evening because they have to go to office on from Monday. So I was just my whole childhood was with nature. I loved it. I lived it. So that's how my passion started to love the nature, especially with snakes. I'm more passionate about reptiles. The slithering, I have a soft spot for them. But other than that, I also like other animals as well.
Snakes and
Yeah,
reptiles.
yeah, snakes, amphibians, frogs, snakes, amphibians, fish, the list goes on.
Right. So, did you go through it at the after your school, or how do you uh,
Well,
continue
yeah.
with?
Yeah. So when I was schooling, actually, so the with the education system in Sri Lanka, we don't get involved in that much of an eco-friendly thing with nature. But somehow, because of my background, I entered the Young Zoologists Association, or known as the YZA. So it's situated at Dehiwala Zoo, Sri Lanka,
Uh,
which is a great organization which helps the youngling to get to know about nature. So I was involved in that as well, and I had a really good actually my father's friends are really good with me, so they also took me after I finished school. When I was in school, they also took me to do these research and all other things, which
uh-huh.
is in Sinhala we could call mapila.
Okay.
It's a species of cat snake. So I discovered the world's first albino one. So albino is a thing that happens when the melanin drops. So melanin is what we get the color from. Okay, the dark pigments are known as melanin. So when melanin drops, the animal becomes albino. Okay, so albino is a term that is used to say something that is all white with pink eyes. But in this scene, it was a semi-albino snake, which was the world's first. So there are 33 species of cat snakes recorded in Asia. These animals are endemic to the Asian continent. So this animal was discovered from a very urbanized environment from Agaloya Bulak Sinhala, which is in the Kalutara district. So which is also a rescue call. We got a rescue call at the middle of the night saying that there was this snake that they've never seen before with a different color. So we got a picture from them. And when we looked at the picture, it was different. We've never seen a color like that. So when we got the snake and we discovered that it was an albino, a semi-albino cat snake. So that's what I'm involved right now. Uh, my research paper is still pending. It's still being revised.
Wow. So, okay. Are you affiliated with any institute to publish this paper?
Yes, so I'm working with the Herpetological Foundation of Sri Lanka, HFS. So that's one of the leading foundations that discovers new species of animals, especially new species of herpetofauna for Sri Lanka.
Wow, that's nice.
I'm quite invested. I also have a big hang of biology, and so between these huge varieties of cattle snake, there's really just this one in Albania. Is there a special reason why these snakes especially are so rare to find albino?
Yes, yes, there's a special reason. That happens because, Dario, it happens with a genetical mutation. So sometimes 1 in 1,000, or maybe 1 in 10,000, 1 in 1 million can be born as albino. Because that happens is a genetical mutation which lacks the pigments of melanin, which creates an albino snake. That is common to humans as well. So maybe 1 in 10,000, 1 in 1 million, there could be an albino human being born. So an albino human being is someone who can't stay in the sun, uh, and has pink eyes. Some has blonde hair. So
Yeah,
it's a,
that,
it's
that
it's a, it's a
there's a
different coloration.
diagnosis with the condition, so I'm quite familiar. So
Yeah. So that's how it. So that's rare because of the genetical mutation that doesn't continue. So the strand gets fixed in a very rare manner. That doesn't happen often. So that's how an albino animal is born.
these years in the fields, all these years with snakes, what is like? Are there even some memorable occasions you remember to this day? Like, what would be like top three moments of your life in nature?
Such as there was a leopard in Yala National Park was named as Hamu. So Hamu is someone who's like the king of the state. He's a small king of the village. So that's why we call him. That's in Sinhalese. That's who is Hamu. So Hamu is a huge male leopard that lived in Yala. Actually, I loved seeing how majestic that animal was. It
So,
was
so
like
you
he was.
multiple times.
Sorry.
So you saw him often.
Well, I saw him a couple of times, maybe about 3, 4 times when I visited Yala National Park. So, well, yeah, I still remember that day. It was when I was in grade 7. So, that was about 2015, as I remember. Yeah, 2015. So, I saw this beautiful, majestic leopard walking through the road. Just he didn't care about all the other vehicles surrounding him. He was just going his way in a very majestic pose. So, I still remember to this date how majestic that animal was. And yeah, and there was this huge python when I was small. So we named him Mahapimbura. So Mahapimbura means huge python in Sinhalese. Okay.
Okay,
So this was about 20 feet long. It was about size of my body. It was a huge snake, a
well,
humongous snake. So I still remember to this date how he was there, and how we got him. Actually, it was a rescue call. The snake slithered into a chicken coop in Kalutara. So we somehow rescued it back home. And yeah, that was also a memorable one. I still have some pictures when I was small, sitting on the snake. It was huge. I was sitting on the snake. And yeah, I think seeing some tuskers, seeing some big tuskers in Yala National Park. And yeah, that's about. And there was one thing. Actually, we caught. Actually, Sri Lanka caught a black leopard. Okay,
oh yeah.
a black leopard. So a leopard is an endemic animal to Sri Lanka, which is only found in Sri Lanka. So there was a black leopard. So that happens with a genetical mutation of high melanin, not low, high. So we call it melanistic. Okay. So that animal was captured and it was injured back then. There was a snare. So it was injured through a snare. So the animal was taken to the Udavalava Wildlife Sanctuary. There they kept it in a cage. So I got the lucky chance. There was only 5 people chosen to see this animal. So I was one of them. So I got this chance to see this animal, and yeah, that was one thing to remember.
I definitely can imagine that. That is impressive. But the way that you talk about these big pythons, these leopards just in the streets, is there even anything that scares you? So if you're out in the jungle or out in nature, is there anything that scares you, or is it all a walk in the park for you.
Well, yeah. So the biggest thing that I'm scared of are humans. So we can never predict what humans are. But rather than that, spiders are not my favorite. I would say not scared, but they are not my favorite animals to deal with. Uh, yeah, that's about it actually. Every other well, I love spiders. I love tarantulas. I would love to have them, but still, uh, they are not my favorite animals.
Okay, so if if you were to say in any exploration, in any research you done, was there never a moment with an animal where you were like, okay, this is too much, or was it all just I'm master of the situation. I know what's going on.
Well, so when we're dealing with venomous snakes, we always have like we always think twice. Okay, but there was never a moment like that. But still, with when we are dealing with venomous snakes, like we don't try to overact with the snake. We just keep our ground. We just stand our ground, and we just maintain a stability. So rather than that, there's no moments like that. That like it's enough. There's no stuff like that with animals for me.
Okay, that is quite impressive. So, okay, and other than that, did you ever have like an exploration or expedition where nature just didn't work, where everything went wrong, or did you also get lucky there?
Well, yeah, I've had a lot of tours like that actually. So as I said before, I went to Domagaskanda like very recently. So actually there has been nights. So we enter the forest at night. We enter the forest at about let's say 9, and then we come back out at 4:30 in the morning. Okay, we enter the forest at 9 p.m. We come back at 4:30 a.m. in the morning. There was about 2 3 nights that I can remember. There was nothing, just 2 3 frogs. That was it. There was frogs, there were frog sounds, and everything was there, but we never saw like a snake. We never saw a tarantula. It was like deserted. We only saw a few frogs and some fish. That's all. So there's been a couple of nights like that. There was actually nothing, like literally nothing. So we used to go in, we just come out heartbroken, but we still continue, we still go there, we just still love it.
So keeping persistent. So also no heavy rainfall surprised you, nothing in these sorts, like where you caught in the middle of a disaster. Is there some story you have?
Yeah, can you just say repeat that question? I didn't get it.
No problem. So, have you ever been surprised by nature, like in a very heavy rainstorm in
Yeah,
bed?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Which is named as Singharaja by the UNESCO society or something, UNESCO organization, let's say. And so I went there about 3 days ago, let's say, about 2 days ago. Okay, so I went there two
Okay.
days ago, and when we were in the jungle, there was a huge downfall. It was raining, thundering, huge winds. Okay, so at that time we get flash floods. So when it rains on the mountains, the water has dropped down and goes into the rivers surrounding the forest. Okay, so the river that is flowing directly from the forest were flooded. The water was brown. There was flash floods. There were 10 feet waves coming across. So we saw that when we were going through the road. And there was another river that is on the opposite side of the forest, which was not having any flash floods. Okay, so we thought of going snorkeling there to see fish. What are the fish species that we can find? So we
Okay.
went snorkeling. We went snorkeling. Actually, we didn't see much. We saw some mashias in Sinhala. They are called lehella. We saw some mashias, and then and there were some Gara silonensis or Ceylon alligator. We saw some of them as well. And then so we were planning to come out of the water at 4:30 p.m. Okay,
Mhm.
we were planning to come out of the water at 4:30 p.m. So when it was 4, luckily, I don't know, God just saved us. Luckily, we thought of coming out of the water. Okay, So we
Okay.
came out of the water. There was a group of about 20 people. We came out of the water. And then we went to our cars to change. Okay. So we were planning to come out of the water at 4:30. Okay. But luckily we came out at 4. When we were coming back to the river at 4:30, it was just flash flood everywhere. The water was brown. If we were there,
My God.
we would have died. But luckily, somehow, we just came out of the water just before everything happened.
Oh my God. Okay. You really got lucky there.
Yeah.
But I mean, besides that, you seem always, I say, in control. So say I were to go next week to Sri Lanka, and I'd say
Okay.
I'm also going to the jungle. What would be like your advice for me to also be as safe, or is it just experience?
Well, yeah. So, uh, what I would say is it's safe. Sri Lanka is a very safe country, in my opinion. I don't care what other people say, but I have a private opinion that Sri Lanka is very safe everywhere we go. We have a nice culture, nice humans. So if you ever visit a jungle, the only thing that you would be not familiar with is leeches. I think in your country you don't have leeches, right? So
No.
leeches are a blood-sucking parasite which latch onto you and suck blood out of you. Okay, so it's better if you wear some leech socks. Just so leech
Okay.
socks are stuff. So leech socks are stuff. Leech socks are stuff that don't let these creatures climb up to you. So rather than that, uh, go have the experience, or else having a tropical experience is a different vibe, not just not just what you have in your country. So my advice is just go, live it, and then you'll have a great experience.
Okay.
How
So
about, bro, if someone found if you encounter a tiger or angry elephant in front of you?
Yeah.
So,
So, luckily we don't have tigers in Sri Lanka. So
no,
if you
no,
get
no,
in
leopard,
front of,
leopard, yeah.
yeah. So if you get in front of a tiger, the tiger would eat you. Okay. So tigers are not scared of humans. There are two types of animals in the world. There are two species of animals in the world which are not scared of humans. Okay. Which is
Who?
the saltwater crocodile, which is
Mhm.
found in Sri Lanka. Okay. And the Bengalian tiger. Okay, so we have leopards. So leopards are very skittish animals. Okay, if you come across a leopard, it will just look at you and just go back. Okay, the same thing goes with elephants. So elephants are really they're social animals. They understand the change of emotions. Okay, if they see that you are scared, they would go back. Sorry, they would come at you. I'm sorry, they would when they come at you, then they think that you are a threat. But if you have a high personality, if you stand your ground without running, they would not come. They would just go back. So there's this personality fight with elephants, especially with the mammals. So if you look straight in the eye of a monkey, it thinks that this is competition. Okay. So that's why we scientists say never to look at a macaques, like never give eye, eye contact with a macaque, because when that happens, it thinks that this is a fight, that you're challenging to a fight. So what they do is they come and fight you, or they come and bite you. So the best thing is just don't give eye contact, just stand your ground, stay straight, nothing else would happen. So there's nothing to worry about.
So Mario, you got the point? Don't worry about, don't worry
Sorry.
about the animals.
Yeah,
Um,
nothing to worry about.
okay. So I'm still European. So snakes. I mean, you are the
Yeah.
expert. I see like three snakes, and none of them were dangerous. So is there anything in this department? Because well, I haven't seen many snakes, but this would be like also a big concern for me. Is there something where you're like, okay, stay away, do this, do that, or is just general?
Yeah. Yeah, so in Sri Lanka we can find a lot of snakes. There are about 109 species to this date. From that, there's about let's say 7 that can kill you if not treated, or else you won't die. If not treated, you can die. So the do's and the don'ts are, well, first thing, don't be scared. Okay, just don't be scared of snakes. If you are scared of snakes, let's say accidentally you get bit, then the blood circulation starts to go fast because you are scared. Okay, so the best thing is just to stay calm. And let's say, so around urban areas, actually there's no snakes at all, like in Colombo, Gaul. So in the center of the city, there's no snakes because of buildings. They don't have a place to live. Okay, but when you go to villages, let's say Sigiriya or Yala, Ambantota, Jaffna, Trincomalee, Gaul, some places in Gaul. Uh, so the best thing is, if you're walking at night, walk with a flashlight. Okay, walk with a flashlight and keep big steps. Okay, like huge steps to the ground, which creates a noise, which creates a vibration that stays, that goes, and which tells the snakes to move out.
That's a
It's
good
just
point.
not only for snakes. So just have big steps. So from that, snakes would just move out of your trail. So snakes are also like mammals, as I told you before. They are also very cryptic species of animals. They are very shy to humans, like really, really shy. If they see a human coming, they would just turn back and run. So they're that shy.
Okay, so uh, my pack list. I have to have anti-leech socks. I should have a flashlight and do big steps, loud steps. Is there okay? Is there anything else if I want to go into the jungle of Sri Lanka? Like, is there any other advice for if I say I'm gonna go camping for a week in the jungle? What should I prepare?
Yeah. So the best thing is if you can wear long jeans with boots, so which can secure your foot. So if you accidentally step on a snake, so if it bites you back, if you're wearing an ankle boot, most probably you're safe. Okay. So if you're wearing a long jean also, somewhat you can be safe. Okay. So my advice is try to wear long jeans with boots, and and uh, as you are a first time tourist, try not to go to very deserted places. Okay, where there is no connection, where there is nothing at all. So like let's say accidentally a snake bites you, so if you get deserted on a mountain that is 3 kilometers high up in the sky, there's no way they're going to bring you back on time. Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
try to stay on the safer side and try to take a good guide with you, one that is very experienced, one that is one that knows his surrounding, that knows his animals. So from that, you're going to be safe.
Okay. Then to get away from all the scary stuff and what could go wrong, what what is like a good tip to have a good time in Sri Lanka? Is there anything like a secret tip you can give us to really get the most of our
So
experience? Yeah.
yeah, to have a good time in Sri Lanka.
Beach, go to the beach, bro. I think, can you repeat the question, please?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, can you?
Okay. So is there
Yeah.
anything out of your perspective where you see people go to Sri Lanka and miss out? So what is your tip to have a really good time at Sri Lanka?
Well, yeah, as I said before, to have a really good time, in my opinion, you just need a really good, what do you call, one that who knows about his surroundings. If you have one that knows about Sri Lanka in a very beautiful manner, not just money-minded, not just money-minded, but one who loves the nature. So one who loves the nature would give everyone else a good vibe. So one who stays with the nature just lights up the room when he enters a room. I've personal experience that. I've seen that. Like when my father's friends enter the room, they just light up the whole room because they have a lot of experience, a lot of stories. Well, to a tourist that who is coming, get in touch with